Good morning. Good morning to all of you, and welcome to this meeting, which we have every year. And I believe it's one of the most important ones we do. I think this meeting, where we honor the ranking scholars and we celebrate the inductees into cum laude, really is at the heart of what the school is. We're about academic excellence and the life of the intellect. And I want to talk about this by thinking about standards, about the idea that we have really high standards in many ways, and that in believing them and in collectively upholding them, and I mean collectively, each one of you, every one of us saying we will uphold these standards, we end up belonging to what I think is a really special place. It's hard work. This is something you've heard from faculty all the time, that these standards are tough. I'm not going to stop talking about it because I think reminding ourselves is reminding why we belong to this place. And I might go back to my opening remarks on the very first school meeting, which seems ages ago, and you no doubt had so much on your mind, you may not recall all of what I was arguing. But as you recall, I wanted to make a claim that day. And I wanted to make a claim that we all together commit to creating the conditions where we each could be our genuine self. You recall that admonition from Horace Taft. And that if we could do that, we would all feel that we belong to this place. And for that to happen, I argued you had to have really high standards. That is, you couldn't have the sense of belonging to something special unless the standards were very high. You'll recall my point that really good organizations, and as varied as Google or Southwest Airlines, or even in professional sports, you think of the San Antonio Spurs or even the New England Patriots, one of the things that mark those organizations is that they have killer high standards. And then if you buy into them, right? If you buy into them, you feel, and you meet them, you feel that I am part of something rare. I'm part of something special. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you do in that organization. There are no insiders and outsiders. There are no important people or trivial people. Everybody matters, and they matter equally. And people in these kind of organizations can quote, they often actually can quote what makes that organization special, why they do what they do, almost in the way I hope that you would be able to do that if someone asked you, what makes this place special, or what are the high standards about academic honor, that you would be able to quote that. There's something close, and I use this word guardedly, something close to a cult in that process, but without the negative connotations of a kind of brainless allegiance or brainwashed blind allegiance. It's not cultish, but it is about creating culture. And after all, we should do well to remember that the Latin root, cultus, right? Think of that, the root to the word culture, it actually means care, as in caring for and honoring and growing. So those organizations have high standards because it's how, and we see the word again, it's how we cultivate that sense of belonging. So as we began the year, I was trying to challenge us, I was trying to unite us against our amazing differences to this idea that if we could meet these standards, that is, we're not going to lower them, if we could meet those standards, every one of us, then we'd all belong, we'd all be able to be our genuine selves. And it would be as if every one of you, having said, I'm going to do all I can to uphold these standards, was then said, that's all we ask for. That's all we ask for. That you would say, I'm going to do all I can to uphold these standards. And then you were given a membership card, and it had your name on it and no expiration date. Now the standards are high. They're not easy to meet. If you could say, I debate and disagree and collaborate and listen and speak with respect, then you belonged. If you could say, I respect the honor code in and out of the classroom, then you belonged. If you could say, I care for this campus from dining room table to dorm hallway, then you belonged. If you could say, I am genuinely and empathically interested in learning about and working with people different than me, then you belonged. If you could say, I try to be nice to someone every day, then you belonged. And my hope was this, that there would be a feeling of intense pride that we were all Tafties, that we all belonged, and all of us supporting those standards, all striving to make this a better place. Now you might say, what does that have to do with today? Because today is about recognizing a handful of students who have met and exceeded the highest standards of scholarship. And let's face it, to get through a Taft Day is really hard. I don't have to tell you that. The faculty's standards for you are seriously demanding, and many of you know that I have 5 questions that I ask of advisees and other students who are in the office that reflect our high standards. I have them printed on business cards. I know it's sort of corny, and I pass them out like a cheap salesman, but that's because I believe in them. If you want it, I have one. If you can say, I argue this, these standards are high, but if you could say yes to these 5 questions each day in every class, that means you've met really high standards, and end of story. You should feel proud. You should go to bed at night saying, I did something really, really hard, and I'm part of a special place that is asking me to do that. You know those 5 questions. Did I arrive to class on time? Did I have the necessary materials? Right? Did I complete all of the work? That's the 3rd one. You see, they get increasingly difficult. Was I eager and willing to contribute to the learning of others? And then the hardest of all, of course, was I mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared to learn? That's the hardest one, and a place is hard. Now, every day you are held to those standards by your teachers. And those teachers, those men and women in the back, they are not going to relax those standards. It is really hard to be able to answer yes to all 5 each day. But in asking you to do so, and in actually being able to do that, you are part of something special, and you can feel, I belong. What I'm being asked to do is different than in my previous school. This is hard work, and if I can do it, I am part of this place. You wouldn't feel it if we had lower standards, if what the faculty asked was easy to achieve. Nope, this is going to be really tough. So you go to bed each night, I hope, being able to say, if I can do this, if I can say yes to those 5 questions in every class, then I'm part of something really special. Now, the students we honor today have met those standards in an extraordinary way. It's not just that their weighted average are in the high upper 90s, or that their courses of study show a consistent desire to meet challenge, or that their teachers were consistently saying that they met and exceeded expectations. I think it's more than that. It is as if that these students looked at the bar of expectations and saw it not as something to get over, but as something to leap from. I marvel at them. I wonder where their flight will take them in life. As I will with each of you, I will follow their lives with keen interest. And so to these scholars that we recognize today, on behalf of the faculty and all you classmates, I offer my congratulations, my thanks in exceeding our highest standards of scholarship. There is perhaps no greater joy for me on this campus, and I think nothing that really marks us unique more than the fact that we love to celebrate the achievements of each other, and there's something remarkable about our school in doing that. So I congratulate all them, and now I'll ask Mrs. Kennerson, who will recognize some of our ranking scholars, and then we will induct the new cum laude members.
Good morning. These students received commendation from the National Merit Scholarship Program for their outstanding performance last year on the PSAT. Please come forward when I mention your name and form a line stage left in alphabetical order. Elizabeth Beret, Ann Gilland, Braden Grustis, come on up, Haley Jubitz, Yeji Bill Liu, Julia Ordway, Eleanor Straight, Olivia Vivastad. Congratulations. These were the ranking scholars at Taft for the 2017-18 academic year with the highest unweighted averages in their classes. Please stand and remain standing when I read your name. Hold your applause till the end, please. The class of 2021, last year's lower mids, with a 97.33 unweighted average, Chin Benjamin Lay. Class of 2020, last year's mids, with a 96.42 unweighted average, Tatiana Sunik. And class of 2019, last year's upper mids, with a 96.2 average, Marcus Valenta. Founded in 1908, the Cum Laude Society is the National Scholarship Society in secondary schools, corresponding to Phi Beta Kappa and Sigma Psi in colleges and scientific schools. A maximum of 20% of the senior class may be elected into membership in the Cum Laude Society. This morning, we will induct 15 members of the class of 2019 who merit inclusion into the society based on their academic records for both their middle and upper middle years. At this spring's graduation, this first group will be joined by other seniors whose selection will be based upon their records for the upper mid and senior years. The 15 students inducted this morning represent the top 8.8% of the class. When I read your name, please come forward and shake Mr. McMullen's hand. Ava Bauermeister. Malcolm Belaires. Chi Yao Jerry Chan. Julia Dawson. Anne Gilland. Marshall Henshaw. Dylan Kim. Yixiao Rachel Lau. Atia Bill Liu. Quincy Morgan. Mahir Nair. Joseph Reiser. Marcus Valenta. Nicholas Winicki. Olivia Vivestad.
We should recognize them as a group, and with that reminder again that I think they symbolized and they embodied so much of what we strive for in trying to meet standards that are really difficult. And my guess is each of you has been lifted by peers at time by their intellectual work. So I just want to recognize them all together. Thank you. I thank you for your attention in this meeting. As I said, I think it's one of the most important we do. And I hope that all of you, when you go to your classes and you're reminded of those standards that the faculty are holding you to, they do that and they refuse to lower those standards because they know you can meet them, right? The faculty care so much for you that they know you can reach that bar, they're going to keep that bar high, and each of you can do that, and the act of reaching those expectations and those standards is what makes you belong to a really special place. So each of you are making this place what it is. So with many thanks, congratulations to all, and have a great day. We're adjourned.